Welcome, everybody, in the Movie Guys verse. This is Jordan here, part of Movie Guys Podcast. We wanted to say thank you so much for downloading this most recent episode. If you don't know what Movie Guys Podcast is, we are a new movie review show that is updated weekly. You can check us out at MovieGuysPodcast.com and also MovieGuysPodcast.podbean.com. Sit back and enjoy the show. Another awesome episode of Movie Guys Podcast. Surprise, we are live here on Twitch and on Facebook. Happy New Year, Eric and Ed. How you guys doing tonight? Eric, I'm sure you're excited to talk about Bird Box like I am.
Live and in color. I'm happy that I could see you guys because nobody in Bird Box could. So it's a happy holidays. Ed, how are you feeling today? It's a happy New Year 2019. Big things going to happen. You might even sell a car.
I might as well. You know, looking at you two guys, I feel like my worst fears have come true.
There it is.
Oh, nice.
All right.
We're there. We're there, guys. Sorry, we're there.
I'm kind of jealous. That was actually kind of a good one. So.
That was a good one. So we are so excited here for multiple reasons. One is 2019. I thought back 20 years ago in 1999 that 2019 would be flying cars and power lace sneakers, but anyway, that's not happening. And also, we're going live here on Twitch and on YouTube, so we're excited for that. But don't worry, fans. You'll still be able to listen to our show on Spotify and iHeartRadio and iTunes and everything else like we've always been doing. This is just a little bit extra. Other than that, too, Bird Box. This movie came out of nowhere, right? This movie was released on Netflix on December 14th of 2018. And man, this thing grew some legs, right, Eric?
Well, this has actually worked out really well just because originally on our schedule, according to what the calendar says, we were supposed to do Welcome to Marwin. Anyway, nobody.
Merlin the Magician.
So nobody had. Obviously, this was. I don't know. This it seemed like to be kind of in good conscience, the holiday family feel good movie type of thing. You know, the uplifting story that people like to have during a holiday. And you had said that, hey boys, we can't do this anymore. It did so bad it got pulled from the theaters. Everybody hates this fucking movie, so we're just not gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's literally exactly what you said. And you know, for your sake, Jordan, I was kind of upset for you because you had really wanted to do that movie. With that being said, I'm not disappointed that we got to watch Bird Box. Really, I'm not. We'll get into it in detail, but I'm really actually kind of glad that we decided to jump it up and put it on our schedule. Because I thoroughly enjoyed every second of the movie, and we'll get into it in more detail.
But this just goes to show you, just because in this month there have been a few movies. So Welcome to Marwin was one that when we were supposed to do it, and obviously it got pulled from theaters just because of poor performances. Another holiday movie was Holmes and Watson with John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell. That I originally thought, well, as we were looking at movies to possibly review. Like, oh, well, this one's got some names. This one's got, a comedy appeal to a classic character, Sherlock Holmes. This one should be good, right? But it apparently is a piece of shit, too. And people are walking out of it. So now we've come to a point where, have you guys not heard about that? This movie
I have not heard about that.
It's been doing so bad. People are walking out on it. It's horrible. It's been nothing but horrible. And, the better part about this is that it was presented by Sony to Netflix to buy, and Netflix turned it down. So here we are. We've come full circle where movies in the theaters are just doing dog shit horrible, but movies on Netflix are becoming the new hotness. Meme-worthy, just, all the big name actors. Like, you have bigger names in these movies than you do other movies.
Yeah, I mean, I never would have anticipated Sandra Bullock doing a Netflix movie 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I never would have expected it. But especially after, and we talked about this movie, back in our archives, you can go back and listen to it, is Bright. After that, the sky was the limit for Netflix movies. I had always loved shows like House of Cards that they had. And, a lot of these streaming services, they're really stepping their game up. For movies, for episodic I don't want to call it television, but episodes,
miniseries.
There are some fantastic things going on the streaming services that, quite frankly, I think they're outdoing a lot of the TV, typical network stuff.
Well, I have a lot of gripes with what's coming on to the future of streaming. I've done a lot of digging onto streaming because I cut the cord 6 months ago. I'm only
welcome aboard.
Yep. I'm doing Hulu Live. It's a great service, but like for example, AMC, who has The Walking Dead, they decided that they're going to have their own streaming service called AMC Premiere, and the only way you can watch those Walking Dead movies that they're going to make is if you subscribe $10 a month to AMC Premiere. They're doing it with Star Trek right now. My dad's a huge Star Trek fan. He was so excited about the new Star Trek show. The only way you can see the new Star Trek show is if you subscribe $10 a month to CBS at full access. So that's what we're going to start doing.
This is apparently going to be leading towards a more pirating. I've kind of thought about this. Whoops, let me turn off this phone. That it would lead more towards more pirating because you're now, I guess, switching this norm of cable and service television, right? Where it's one cable package, you can buy a premium television that way. But now everything is going individual streaming. So you, instead of paying $150 a month for your cable package and internet, now you're paying $10 a month on 6 different services.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's leading towards. And it's interesting, and I don't know if I'm a fan of it. Before we talk about Bird Box, I want to say just one thing about Will Ferrell real quick. I don't know how to say this. I have a guilty pleasure. I love every Will Ferrell movie he's ever done.
Everyone.
Which is when I watch him at home on Netflix. I will never go, because my wife said that. She was like, hey, let's go see Sherlock Holmes. You love Will Ferrell. I was like, he's not worth my money in the theater. But I will love him as Mugatu in the other movies. Why not? I mean, it's just stupid little shit like that. But before we get into Bird Box here, we have something we want to say to everybody, the fans here. Ed, I like beer. Do you like beer?
I love beer.
Ed, why don't you tell everybody about our sponsor and our affiliate here with Inside the Cellar? What's going on with Inside the Cellar here?
So Into the Cellar is basically it's like a subscription service to where you pick what kind of beers you like, what kind of wine you like, and they're experts, and they'll tell you what to get, and they'll send you the booze that you want, including one of our favorites, Broken Skull IPA by Stone Cold Steve Austin himself. They partner with a lot of people, help you get really good craft beers, wines, those kinds of things, and they're definitely somebody to check out. Just go on our website, MovieGuysPodcast.com. We got a link right to Into the Cellar, and definitely check out the things that they've got because it's pretty awesome.
And drink along with us, right? That's what I'm going to.
Yeah, there you go.
Right there, yeah.
And make sure to please drink responsibly. So tonight we're talking about Bird Box here, a movie that I had no idea was even coming out, starring Sandra Bullock and my new love affair of Sarah Paulson. If you guys don't like her, I don't care. She's fucking amazing. Sarah Paulson is great. She got her, I guess, her street cred from American Horror Story. I love Sarah Paulson. Mm-hmm. I was ashamed and disappointed when her demise happened in this movie. But so Bird Box essentially is a post-apocalyptic movie where there's this unseen entity that when you see it, you see something that is your most fear or see a loved one possibly. And once you see it, your eyes turn to this cloudy, glossy look, and you commit mass suicide all around the board. The movie starts off with Sandra Bullock as she's pregnant. She doesn't want to be pregnant. She says being pregnant is a condition. And all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose, and she's locked into a house with John Malkovich and MGK. If I was her, and if I was locked in a house with MGK and John Malkovich, I would try to escape too.
Have you ever seen Being John Malkovich? That movie made me want to escape.
I mean,
escape life.
Hey, well, don't knock on that. First off, B.D. Wong is also in there too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of characters on there, but I mean, this is a great sequence just because it starts as far as where the panic is really does roll out. Like it starts from a news feed. It starts from them casually living their life in their kitchen, and they're hearing about panic in Romania or something
like Russia or somewhere, and Sandra Bullock goes, "Oh, don't worry, it's not here."
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, I mean, that's very realistic. That's very relatable because it's like, oh, well, good thing it's not my backyard type thing. Then they go out and go and do their appointments, and then they see. Obviously, that's when the nightmare or whatever it is, it kind of rolls out, and that's when panic starts to hit, and you really don't know what's happening. And it's a great sequence of how it does that because that's how I would imagine it happens, right? I mean,
So
yeah, I mean, you wouldn't know something like this would just sort of pop up all of a sudden, and you would have no idea what's going on if you didn't really watch the news, really, you know.
So, Eric, in your little quote there, you said The Happening 3 times. That's what this movie is. It's The Happening.
Without hot dogs.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a better version of The Happening. It's like somebody watched M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening and said, I can make a better movie.
Listen,
that's what it is.
But and the other part of this too, they did it their own way, and that's fine. I like the way that they did it. It was enjoyable. There were some gripes that I had about it because I have a feeling that people would be, I know I would be willing to like cheat or peek. Like I want to know what the limitations are. So they just one where you can't view on a view. So even if you recorded it, so an indirect viewing, I think is what they called it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it still affects. But I mean, I wonder if it's like if I want to know about the time limit. What if I just took a peek?
Well, just to jump ahead of you a little bit, Jordan, you made a comment about how the person who wrote this just saw the happening and said maybe I can write a little better. The person who wrote this movie also wrote a movie we just talked about a couple of weeks ago, The Thing, 2011. Also wrote Nightmare on Elm Street, Final Destination 5, and one of our favorites from our archives, Arrival.
Hey, there you go.
So we have reviewed now 3 movies from this person. What does that person get, Jordan?
Person gets it's actually on our site now on our Popcornies page. You get the golden headphones.
Yay! Golden headphones.
We will send it over to your way. Who's that person?
Eric Hessier or Hesser, or however you pronounce Hessier.
Oh, he's got a good first name.
Hey, Eric, go ahead and you got yourself some golden headphones here. Let's talk about, I want to hold off a little bit about what we think this entity is later, but I want to talk about the opening here when the shit hits the fan. She's driving. She's in the car with Sarah Paulson. We get this blonde girl like in a red jumpsuit, kind of just slamming her head against the glass wall. And then Sandra Bullock later on goes to get a cell phone, and Sarah Paulson's just like, what the fuck is that? And Sandra Bullock can't see it. Runs the car into another car, gets out, and steps in front of a garbage truck. And I was like, oh, Sarah Paulson, no. Brutal opening. But the most interesting kill, I would say, the kill in the movie that made me go, oh, that sucks, is she gets knocked down. Sandra Bullock gets knocked down. She's in front of a house. John Malkovich's wife comes out to try to save her. She says, Mom. She thinks she sees her mom. She's now possessed, and she walks inside of a burning car.
Yeah.
And the camera does not pull away. Eric, what do you feel about that?
Very different. I'm curious. Like this is again the limitations that I want to know, and yeah, but that's what makes it such a better movie. Yeah, you don't know. I have so many more questions, and that's why I'm interested, because I want to find out these answers. Mm-hmm. And for something like that, to make you do something like that, that's great. So great details, by the way, too. Like in that car scene when Sandra Bullock and Sarah Paulson are driving down the road. Remember, Sarah Paulson asks if she could get her cell phone out of the bag, and that's when Sandra Bullock is then turned to go find the cell phone, and that's when Sarah Paulson gets to see the monster. Mm-hmm. And so there's a great little cover-ups to kind of show a reason why Sandra Bullock, her character, is looking in the same direction as these other people, as right, as being like that. Now, obviously we all have gripes about the movie, and we'll get to it there. But the way that it's dealt with in that manner is pretty cool. I though when John Malkovich's wife came out and did that whole thing, I thought they were onto something, this whole look down concept, and then that was kind of ignored.
Yeah, good point. Because what happens if you look down? Yeah, good point.
Because that's how they get to the house, is that they just look down, just look down, just look down.
this scene, as you mentioned, very much reminds me of when they have that mass suicide in The Happening, when the guy gets himself run over by the lawnmower and they jump off all those buildings and whatnot. This is a much better version of that scene, and much quicker, much more aggressive, much more right in your face. You see the guy get runs himself run over with a lawnmower, but you also here you see it more intimately that John Malkovich's wife, I forget her name, walks into the car and the burning car and kills herself. So yeah, I mean, it's like you said, the look down thing. It's much more like when you guys had said about the realistic. You'd see the news feed. Well, the first thing that they would do is they realize you can't look at this thing, so they're just looking down, and they tell you, the evolution of their discoveries within this movie are incredibly realistic. And granted, we're talking about them looking at a demon or a zombie or just fear itself or whatever. It's as realistic, I guess, as something like that could be.
Yeah, that's what it is that we don't know what it is, and I like that it remains unknown for the entire time.
It does. Mm-hmm. So we get into the house, we get ourselves our 10 little Indians, and what?
Wow.
What?
I mean,
Let's continue.
What? No, 10 little Indians. You guys get the reference?
I get the reference. You just shouldn't say it the second time. Don't say it the third time. Just go. Just go with it.
Just go. What?
Okay. All right. Nope, anyway, so okay. So we get into the house and we get our cast of characters. We get MGK there. We get a bunch of. We get an old woman and
gotta address the MGK, right? Everyone, get the MGK, the rapper in the room. Everyone,
gotta get it in there. Whose first line in the movie is "We're fucked." I mean, of course. But we get introduced to a guy who I believe every word he says. We get introduced to Charlie, who used to work when everything goes to shit. Used to work at the local grocery store, and he tells people a story that this is the end of days. This is Armageddon, and this is actually a demon that you are seeing. So we get into that character, and then eventually they decide, hey, we got to get supplies. So then they go and they paint the windows on the car. They do all these things not to see. And actually, you know what, Eric, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but that scene terrified me when they were in the car, because all you're driving is with GPS. You can't fucking see. It's like he made it to the grocery store without a scratch on the car. I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. So kind of a what the fuck moment number one, right? Mm-hmm. Is okay. Well, they have GPS. That's a bit of an eye roll. Okay. I guess you can get there with GPS. It's only a little bit down the road. It seems like there was 2 turns involved here. They out of the driveway, a right and a left, and then you're kind of there type of thing.
They run over a bunch of people.
Yeah, given 2 things. One, you're in a neighborhood you don't know at all. Okay, that's number 1 right there. So you're guessing in a shitty neighborhood already. Number 2, there's chaos. Bad shit, chaos, shit crazy just went outside. There's no order. People aren't parking on the side of the roads anymore,
Yeah.
So, yeah, you don't know what you're running over and type of thing. I get that part, too. And then, that GPS is surprisingly accurate, too. I use GPS. Right. I know that you guys do as well, too. So, either way, as they were picking this apart, and it doesn't need to be a type of thing, they got very lucky. Like, the drive itself, with them just getting there without any interference, because I know they're gonna be hitting something, right?
They got to. He keeps on saying speed bump, and he's not.
And Siri has tried to put me into a lake on more than one occasion. I don't know how the fuck they got to a grocery store.
Really, you're gonna do an Office reference? you goddamn it!
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Either way, that's what I'm trying to say, right? Is in that regard. A little bit, but it furthered the story because
yeah.
And even when they got there, there was a good point to be made. John Malkovich even said that. Just like, why the fuck are we even going back? Like, we have everything we need to hear.
Yeah,
especially the booze.
This happens time and time again in these kind of movies, because I kept on thinking of Night of the Living Dead. When they're in the house, and it's always the asshole in these movies that's always right. Because I would agree with John Malkovich. I'm like, yeah, we have everything we need here. Why the fuck are we leaving? But when they go to the when they go to the grocery store, Charlie, who worked there, hears a knock at the back bay door, and he said, "Oh, this is a guy I used to work with." and this guy is possessed.
Yeah, so we get our first introduction to I guess the cults, right?
Yeah, so
is it a cult, or are these people already deranged and they have mental problems, and they're the ones that don't get killed by it because they have what we could refer to as an immunity, I guess. Okay. I don't want to call it immunity, but that's just we watch a lot of zombie movies. That's the first thing that pops in my head.
Yeah, sure.
You guys got to bear with me here because I'm going to go ahead and just steer to the far left field right now. I got to talk about this. This is my theory of what it is, okay? I feel that this is Satan and the demons themselves. I feel that this entity is whatever it wants to be, kind of like It Follows in a way. Mm-hmm. So you commit mass suicide. The reason why these people that are the deranged people or the followers, like Edso said, is because these people are bad people and they're being saved to do mass murders to help it kill. And then later in the film, spoiler alert, when we get into the blind people, they're blind, see no evil, they are pure.
That's an interesting theory.
It is. It certainly is.
Yeah, I don't want to discount it because obviously it's a theory, and I see the validity in it. I don't know necessarily what it is that we are not seeing or we're supposed to be seeing. However, my thought was the whole time that it's the Grim Reaper. You know, just he missed quota and he had to get everybody.
Yeah, that might be it.
So, you know, and those deranged people, and they make a comment about how at some point somebody, I forget who, refers to the fact that a prison for the criminally insane had been broken into or something. And that's when we get the knock on the door from the guy that we see as the second, when they're back in the house, as the second deranged or the second seer or whomever, whatever they're called.
Oh, a seer. I like that. Good.
Or however we want to however we want to refer them.
I like that.
I just think that the fact that they have some sort of mental instability, that they are insane, that they are crazy, they see what they see, and their greatest fear is already themselves. So they now see the light. They're reversed.
Ah, there you go. That could be something too. They had made mention because the house that they're in is B.D. Wong's house, right? And we assumed that he had a partner who died.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that he is a well-to-do. Is it a doctor? He's a psychiatrist.
He's a psychiatrist, and his partner, his male partner, was an architect, and they were going to do construction to make the house glass on the one side, which pissed off John Malkovich.
Yes, that's why he sued them.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why he sued him.
Mm-hmm.
So
is this where Machine Gun Kelly dies, or did we jump ahead?
No, he doesn't die. Sandra Bullock is later, earlier in the film, we get this other blonde woman who comes in to be helped. Her name is Olympia. She's pregnant along with Sandra Bullock, and then eventually Sandra Bullock stumbles upon Machine Gun Kelly and the cop. We don't know what happens to him. We're assuming they die.
Well, nobody knows.
Oh, that's right. They stole the car. We didn't get Machine Gun Kelly didn't get a boom kill shot. So
wow.
Yeah, I did it. I did it. Yes, I did.
Leave the chat room.
Okay.
Yeah. Movie Guys podcast. Known for puns, terrible puns. But so anyway, so then we get our next guy later in the film, like Ed was saying. We get a guy, I believe his name is Gary or Garrett or something like that. He comes in, and this is the point of the movie where it becomes interesting because his eyes are not glossed over. He doesn't have the shadow eyes. Mm-hmm. And he acts like a normal guy. And it just so happens that both women are going to give birth at the same exact time. I don't know if this is an a la Adam and Eve kind of situation.
Yeah, they all sync up, you know?
Yeah. And nice.
Wow, I apologize to every female listener on your behalf.
Yeah, you know what? I do
that
too.
Was bad. That was bad.
This is supposed to be our first video broadcast too.
Yes.
So yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Can't wait you to check out this one, Mom. This would be great.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then we find out that this new guy, I'm just going to call him Gary because I forget his name, but I believe it would start with a G. While the girls are upstairs giving birth, he brings up all these drawings. And
Mhm.
we start seeing what these things probably are. I believe that these are demons even more now because of his drawings. This is what he sees, right?
Sure.
And he just snaps and goes after everybody. And I felt bad for that old lady. You know, she's closing her eyes. You know, he's ripping things off the wall so she can see outside. Pries her eyes open. Oh, stabs herself in the neck multiple times with scissors. Oh, just terrible. And eventually, everybody dies in the house besides Sandra Bullock and the male lead, which I'm so sorry. I don't know who this guy is.
Thomas.
Thomas.
Yeah.
And her and Thomas live in this house. It looks like they live in this house for 5 years.
5 years, they said,
Mhm.
and they are basically just staying in that house, right? And they kind of have now unique enough is because there was 5 years of overgrowth. All over.
Well,
They
wait,
gave you,
we forgot the key part. The biggest part, the name of this movie, was they found those birds
oh
in the
yes.
grocery store of all places.
Let's cut it back here, everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have to take a step back. So they find these birds, and when that crazy guy, when they open up the freezer or wherever it is,
stick or whatever his name is.
yeah, that's the birds go nuts, and that's when we first get the understanding that the birds can see it. The birds will warn you, much like
a
carbon
canary.
monoxide. Yeah. So that's where, hence, we get the name of the movie is the bird cage, and then when they go on later, there's the bird box.
Bird box, yeah.
So we couldn't talk about this movie without bringing that up.
No.
What's great about this type of movie is that because this is a man versus unknown element, and so you have a lot of this situation where like other movies before it, The Mist, where you
Mhm.
had like these bottle episodes where it's man versus man, or A War of the Worlds is another one too, where you have these people who are forced to get along in these or cooperate in these
Mhm.
high tension situations too, and that's what I like about this. So in this high tension moment, that's when you have these newer characters like Olympia that comes in, or that crazy guy, the occultist Gary that comes in too, and you have like these serious things because John, he brings up a good point where anyone that we have brought in has brought in death. Anyone, this is it. We should stick to what we have. Anyone else is fuck them. They missed the boat, and that's the voice of reasoning always is there. So it puts it into a hard situation because would you, in the end of world situation, be willing to help your fellow man or fuck them?
Nope, fuck them.
Well, it's very much like, I hate to bring the show up, but it's very much like The Walking Dead. They have the close-knit group.
Bring the show up too.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Like first it's just a tight-knit, and it's just them, and they need help, so somebody brings them in, and then no, you can't, and then they find a safe place to themselves, and no, you can't come in, and then all of a sudden now we want to create a community and we want to create a future. Now everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
So it's six one half dozen of another. It depends. In this situation, when this has just started to occur, we're within weeks when they're still in the house, if that, maybe even days. Of course, John Malkovich is absolutely right. It's just us. Everybody that you will see from now on is nothing but problems. We know what we have to do. We know what each other has. We know what each other doesn't have. We can deal with it. Anybody else, this new parasite, a new entity is going to ruin what we have going, which is survival.
So 5 years have passed, and Tom and Sandra Bullock have raised 2 kids, a little boy and a little girl. She calls them boy and girl. She's very cold-hearted to them. Her excuse is it's all about survival. They try to go on runs here and there, and they stumble upon the last run they do as a group is they stumble upon the group of seers. Like, I'm going to use Edward there. I like your word there.
Yeah, that's fine.
They stumble upon a group of seers, and Tom sacrifices himself so he can go ahead and save Sandra Bullock and the family. Now, this is interesting, Eric, going with your point of look down, because he gets shot. There's no way in hell he can get medical attention, so he's going to just have to do what he has to do. He's fine. No entity for a good few minutes there.
Yeah, by the way, ace shot. Dude was like batting 1,000.
Yeah, he was
3 for 3, I think. All all of them.
He was military. He was ex-military. So.
Was he? I don't remember that.
Yeah, ex-military. So I believe it.
Yeah, he said. I remember he was talking about. Anyway, well, either way, 5 years out of practice, still can shoot a gun like that. But that's not hating. I'm complimenting. But yeah, like I feel like in that situation where you're going all in, that's probably a good good time to try something new.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm dying anyway, I might as well just let's see how far looking down will get me. You know,
Mhm.
it's basically writing down your after you got bitten by the snake. You know, just gotta keep it going to see what you can do. But obviously, who's gonna hear him? But at least try it. I mean, BD Wong at least tried it, tying himself to a chair.
Yep.
But also another goddamn thing, BD Wong is tied to a chair watching this fucking thing, and everyone leaves the room.
Yeah,
And,
why
like,
do you do that?
how about why can't just someone stand on the opposite side of the monitor, and then when they see BD Wong tripping, unplug the monitor? Like
That's a good question.
That's what I would do.
We would
because we had to see BD Wong beat his own head up against his what is it, a little stone wall there, and kill himself.
Well,
Good kill.
Yeah, he just fell. He just what it was. It was a fireplace in the office, and he was
That's
moving his chair left and right so he can get a good oomph to fall and hit his head on the fireplace, the cement of the fireplace there. So Tom sacrifices himself, and then we get a scene that was in the beginning of the movie. I will say this to everybody who is listening to this review and watching us right now on Twitch and on YouTube here, is that this movie's told out of order. It goes back and forth to them.
A lot of flashbacks.
A lot of flashbacks. So she tells the kids very bluntly, hey, do not remove your blindfolds. If you do, I will hurt you. Blah, 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 blah. They get on the boat, and they continue down the river. Scary part for me, the only scary part in the movie for me, is when they're halfway down the river, and they hear a guy calling out, and Sandra Bullock is not listening. And you see an entity, or you see an outline of a guy, and the guy's real, and he's a seer trying to get Sandra Bullock. That was fucking creepy because she couldn't take off her blindfold, and he was attacking the boat.
And they lost all their shit.
Well, that was when they go down the rapids.
Oh, was that later? Okay. Well.
Like how thick does linen have to be? How much are you able to see before it affects you? You know what I mean? Like that's the other part, because you know how sometimes you can kind of see through cloths and just a little bit. Sometimes you can get like outlines if you look real good. Like is that I don't know.
It's a valid point. It's a valid question. How much of it can you see before you see too much? I mean, I guess in reality, I wouldn't want to know.
No. I'm just gonna go. We'll just assume just for outline, or just for to base rules here, that any visual of anything that's not an outline, that's not a shadow, right? Is that where?
Well, we know we can't. We know you can't look at it even digitally recreate it back from a camera to a monitor. We know you can't do that. So they did try to establish a level that you can.
I guess
you can and can't look at it.
But you can see a shadow of it. Like that's when I remember when they're going in the car and they're going to there was it all around, and there was obviously shadow it blocking light.
Yes.
Even though it's invisible, which I'm curious about that too. So like there's some either way. All right, we'll just I know it's monster movie. It's don't ask questions about monster.
Yeah.
Now I skipped a very important part, but I'll make it very quick here for everybody who was listening and then watching on YouTube and Twitch again. But the reason why that Sandra Bullock takes boy and girl with her down the river is because the day prior, they finally get in contact with somebody over a radio or walkie-talkie. It says his name is Rick. And he says that they have a sanctuary. They have a place that's safe. You have to go down the river. And once you go past the rapids, which a lot of people do not survive the rapids, you'll just follow the sounds of the birds.
But somebody has, that's the key. We missed something. Somebody has to look.
Which nobody did.
Well, but here's the thing. They tell you that somebody has to look. And the whole time, because they've given you like that Sandra Bullock is this sort of real bitchy woman that they make you think she's going to pick the girl because girl is not her kid. It's that other woman's kid. And it's a real Sophie's Choice kind of moment, but they lead you to think she's going to pick girl to look.
Yeah, it does. And then, girl volunteers herself to do it. But they don't need to do that because I guess when they go down the rapids, it's crazy. Remind me of River Wild. If you guys love that old classic movie from the 90s with Kevin Bacon, God bless
Kevin Bacon.
And the boat tipped over. So I guess they didn't need to see.
Well, but it was a real key moment where you can tell that she had changed over, or she was starting to switch over to being more compassionate about these kids. Because you think for a good half an hour that she's going to pick girl to look. And then she's like, who's going to look? Nobody. That's it. Nobody's going to look. And she changes her mind. And then that's the big part of the reason why they do crash is because nobody's looking where they're going. So they just crash into a bunch of shit. And they almost die because of it.
That's true. They do. And I thought for sure one of these kids were going to die. Another scene that we skipped over, she was trying to get supplies, and the kids decide to go off on their own, But eventually she gets to the woods, and she's following the birds, and this is when the big monster reveal comes, right? This is when the monster is talking to her, going, and we now discover that this entity can mimic people that you love and people that you know. It can mimic their voices, because Tom's talking to her, but he's not there. Just take off your blindfold. It's okay, And this thing is just moving trees everywhere. It's fucking creepy. Eventually, she succumbs from her hatred, or I would guess you say bitchiness, Ed.
I just use that word, albeit inappropriate.
No. This is where, because you're missing the moments with Tom, where those human moments where he is being a father to these kids, and she's being their protector.
Oh,
and I remember the bigger quote that I got from this movie was when she and Tom were arguing about, just like you said, she's doing this to survive. Everything that I do or that I have done was for them or because of them type thing. And he put on the big moment, the big quote of saying, just like, if they don't have hope, then why are we even doing this? What is this all for? If it's just to live to die. If it's just to prolong your death, you got to give them something to live for. And that's where I think those moments kind of hit with her a bit more, is because he's kind of right. This is like, she has to do more to these kids. They need to know. And those were good moments. Those obviously they flashed and bounced back at the appropriate times in those moments.
I mean, a la religion, right? I mean, what's the point if there's no hope?
Sure.
Yeah. So she eventually finds Boy, and she's screaming out to Girl, and Boy says a very key line too, Eric, and says, she's afraid of you. So she starts to continue the story that Tom told the kids about going up the tree and what Tom saw, and that led Girl back to Sandra Bullock, and they finally get to a sanctuary. Now, I was watching this movie today, and once we reveal what the sanctuary is, I'm like, oh, that's fucking clever.
Yeah. How did I not think of that?
The sanctuary is used to be a school for the blind, and like 95% of the people there are blind. Like, that's fucking cool.
And her gynecologist is there.
Her gynecologist.
We forget about that. Her gynecologist is there.
Now, question for either of you here. Did the blind people, did they build kind of like this greenhouse effect over the courtyard over these past 5 years? Or was that always there? Because that's what's protected them. Because
there's got to be that had to have been, I'm sure, just maybe an open or maybe even glass or something. But this is 5 years. They had accounted for a lot of overgrowth, and that is something that is very it's a big detail to me, and especially a post-apocalyptic movie. I can't say that word. Apocalyptic movies.
There you go.
Where thank you. Just sound it out, boys. Take your time. Where a lot of times, like, the weeds and grass or the trees haven't taken over, and they will most certainly take over. You guys have ever seen vines? Like if you leave
gosh.
this thing unattended, they will eat a house, and so maybe that's what you have. That's what happened here. Is that obviously no one's cutting the lawn anymore. Now that the aliens or the people the thing has arrived.
Yeah. That's
That's
what it could be. It could be the thing.
But
we figured it out. It could be the thing.
Yeah, no, we couldn't.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it could be. It could. Listen, it could just be an evolved version of the thing, Jordan. Like it got a hold of a bird and then flew to civilization.
Well, no, because there's a moment where it touches people. Like, it touched the girl, remember, and the hair had floated up, so it can touch and interact with you. It only is active when you look at it, right? That's its only access to anything, I guess, is through your cornea,
right? through your eyeballs.
But Ed's right though. She runs into her gynecologist from 5 years ago. She said, "What are your names?"
By the way, she's just chill, like she just got there. By the way, like
yeah, I know. I also like how the director decided to age the gynecologist by putting gray streaks in her hair.
Yeah.
This stupid.
Well, she's seen some shit, man.
Yeah, I guess you see some shit.
Being a gyno in
she's the only one left. She's got a job to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. See, Jordan, that is your next movie. The last gyno in the end of the world.
Oh. Okay. No.
But anyway. Picture think the mailman, or the postman.
Oh, great movie.
Think great the postman, movie. But with delivering a different type of package.
Oh gosh.
Ed, I am
my favorite line, by the way, from the postman was when he runs into when he runs into Tom Petty on the Hoover Dam, and there's wait a minute, didn't you used to be somebody? And Tom Petty goes, yeah, I kind of used to be somebody, but I'm not anymore. I just run this thing now.
We're not talking about the Postman, but
great movie, very underrated movie.
I used to do this show for only a season, and it was called You Hate It, We Love It, and I had to pick a movie that I love that everybody else hates, and I picked The Postman, and everybody killed me on it. And I just want to tell you, and I just want to say that my favorite line in that movie is when he said, "Yeah, the capital is in the Hubert H. Humphrey Dome, where the Vikings used to play." I just find that funny. But anyway, so then the gynecologist says to Sandra Bullock here, "What are your names?" And they say, "Boy, girl," and she kind of gives this look of disgust, like, "Oh, okay. So at the beginning of the movie, you said you had a condition, but you were pregnant. Fuck you, bitch." And then she says, "Nope, I'm a mom now." The girl's name is Olympia, named after her mother, and the boy's name is Tom, named after, well, not the father, but the
whatever, dude.
They're real dad.
That's that dude's daddy, I may not be your father, but I'm your daddy, or I don't know where you want to the Guardians of the Galaxy thing. There.
I mean, come on, guys. Before we get into our popcorn rating here, I mean, come on. This is religion, right? They're in this beautiful, flush Garden of Eden. They have a boy and a girl who is going to help. Because they're not related. So they're going.
I think you're reaching an awful lot there, but
sure. Come on, man.
Yeah, no. I think you're because there was another. I saw another bogus headline that was Bird Box is an excuse for white people not to see racism or something like that. And it's just like you're reaching way too fucking far. Okay. You probably watched this in some sort of mood and was just like, you know what? This is about how Taco Bell's taking over the industry. Just like, what the hell kind of tinfoil hat are you wearing? I'm interested to hear it. Like, it's don't get me wrong.
You know what? Before we get our popcorn rating here, I kind of want to just do this little thing because I found this out the other day, and I want to know, Eric and Ed, a little bit of a trivia question for you about Taco Bell, since we're all the same age. In the 1990s, before the Chihuahua dog became famous, no cheating, by the way.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. Okay, yeah, is this? Well, we're on video now, so now we can hands up. No Googles. No Googles. No Googles.
Don't shoot.
In the 90s, before the Chihuahua dog was famous, Taco Bell had a cartoon pink cat and a purple dog. Can you guys name the pink cat and purple dog?
I cannot. No.
Do you remember those commercials of the
nacho and cheese or something?
There you go. Nacho and cheese. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
Mr. Pop Culture himself.
I would just say, hey, man, I was a BK club member too. So
right? Who wasn't?
BK kid.
Right. All right, so let's get into our popcorn rating here for Bird Box. And for the people that are watching live on YouTube and on Twitch, and the people that are listening to the show on YouTube and everything, I mean, listening on iTunes, everything else that we've done, just kind of tell you what popcorn rating is. What a popcorn rating is, it's a very simple rating system. You got four categories, I guess what you say. You got a no bag, which is it's just a crap film. You got a small bag, which is okay, but not good. Medium is decent. It's missing something, and a large bag is great film. You need to see this. So, Ed, we always start with you first, buddy. What is your popcorn rating for Bird Box?
Well, like we talked about, the movie does have some flaws, but I left. Well, I left. I watched it and
left your couch.
Yeah, left my couch saying, "This is the movie The Happening should have been." Right. So for that reason, I loved every second of the movie. I'm going to give it a medium bag of popcorn with a lot of butter on it. I'm giving it some butter. I'm not giving it a large bag, but I'm giving it a medium bag with some butter on it. Obviously, Sandra Bullock's fantastic. John Malkovich is great. The story is awesome. There's nothing. I have nothing negative to say about the story whatsoever. I think it was well done on all levels. There are some logical things that I'm missing from it, and that's what's keeping me from giving a large bag.
All right, so a medium bag from Ed. Eric, what will be your popcorn rating for Bird Box?
Guys, I am really at a toss-up here because I think the better parts of this movie were maybe not in the story, but definitely in the acting. There was a part when they being Sandra Bullock and boy and girl going down the river, which, by the way, ballsy move, okay? To just go on a river. Like, going down a river without a blindfold is tough enough, to navigate your way, especially in one you have not seen before, in California. Anyway. Aside from that, the acting was fantastic. There was a moment when they were going down the river and they were going to the sanctuary or trying to find their way to the sanctuary, and she was separated from boy and girl, and she found them again, and she reacted as just so warm and lovingly to these to finding them again, and then telling them the story, and it was just good acting. Sandra Bullock really deserves something for that. That she's a Razzie winner, right? And that ain't no Razzie award, or that ain't no Razzie acting that I saw there. But it was just really good in that part. But I'm left with so many questions in this movie, and because of it, it's like every one question leads me to a few more questions, and then as the movie keeps on going, it gives me more questions. And
down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, and so it's one of those where I'm interested to see what's happening and what's going on with the story, and if it's gonna further. That'd be great, but as of right now, because of so many questions, it's leaving me confused, and it's just the acting. I'm going to give this like a small bag of popcorn, boys. I don't see myself watching this movie again. I enjoyed it for what it was. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not in a hurry to see it again. And there's a lot of things that I would want to try out. They did a lot of things right, and I appreciate that. I really do. I guess it's just the loopholes. If they're going to keep this going, then I'm on board, but I'm really confused. That's what it is. Small bag.
Yeah, Eric, you're right. I have no interest in ever seeing this movie again. It was okay. I don't get the hype. This movie actually only has a 65% on Rotten Tomatoes. What has got it so popular was the Netflix fans. I don't see it. Yes, I love Sandra Bullock's acting. I think she's great in this part. But the story is lacking. They jump all over the place. I would have rather have a Night of the Living Dead storyline where they stay in one location and watch the group tear themselves apart more. Instead of having guests come in and destroy them, have them destroy themselves without getting possessed. That would have been more creepy. So yeah, small bag of popcorn for me as well. Just it's not that great. I've seen better.
You're both retarded, and I hate you.
Gee, wow.
No, I mean, look. Just give me a minute to defend myself here, because you both kind of sort of gave
I'm
it small
not
bag.
saying that you're a piece of shit. I enjoyed the movie, but here's a movie where you have a central theme of taking away one of your senses, and I'm seeing that it's becoming more and more a thing, not just because of A Quiet Place, that became
Don't
popular
Breathe.
this year
We
too.
reviewed Don't
But
Breathe.
Don't Breathe was another one as well too, and it seems that there was a list. Fucking hell, let me bring it up. That I had. There was a few other ones too, but you know what I mean. What happens when you are taken away your ability to see or hear, or basically those are the only two ones right there, right?
Yeah. My defense in why I feel like this is not a small bag is because it's really, am I okay? So it was a book. So the fuck what? It's fucking original, and we don't have anything original coming from anywhere except for the streaming services.
Sure.
Everything on TV is the exact same thing that's always been on popular on TV, and it's the same. It's literally all these whodunits. That's live Scooby Doo, and yeah. So don't get me wrong. I love to watch SVU. Who doesn't love to watch SVU, right? But it's Scooby Doo. They're all Blacklist, fucking CSI. They're all the exact same TV show. They're all terrible. Every single one.
How about this? How about? I'm sorry. Are you done with yours? And then.
Well, no, I was just gonna say the fact that it's something new and it's coming from Netflix and it's well acted in. Well directed, well written. You know, I think maybe I should have given this in my popcorn rating as to why it's just the level of creativity that I saw in this movie. Sure, okay, we said it's what the happening should have been, but like it was better and it was more well thought out. It was fucking original. That's a big reason why I gave it the medium bag.
How about this? Because we try to do this in Movie Guys podcast, right? Where if I'm going to say something I don't like about the movie, what could I have done to improve upon it?
Mm-hmm.
I would have taken out a few scenes. I felt like a few were unnecessary because those scenes left or gave me questions. Here's one: the one where girl tied a rope around her waist and then walked completely south to Sandra Bullock's north. You know, the other way, and she had this interaction with whatever the creature was, and then Sandra Bullock pulled her back with the rope, and then did the whole freak out moment there. That didn't tell me anything new. That did not tell me anything besides that. I guess the invisible thing can interact, but we couldn't assume that already, and we didn't really need to know that. I found it to be a very pointless scene, and I have more questions because of it.
Well, and again, not to really necessarily argue with you, the only thing that it doesn't add very much. I will say that. What it does add, the very little that it does, is it tells you that these kids, they know the world they're in. They might only be 5, but they understand why they can't open up their eyes and why they have to have the rope around them.
Sure.
Because they have to be able to find their way back. So does that add depth to the character? Probably not, no, but it gives, again, another level of reality to a monster movie, but a level of reality to a post-apocalyptic movie, which is what I'm looking for in a movie like this.
In that to the kids, sorry, Jordan, I can understand it for the kids' explanation, but I'm looking for the question about what the creature is, and I don't, or it is. And
Sure,
I don't have any of that. Also, if you're gonna have this many people dying in a movie because of this, give me one death where a person peaks and then dies from it. That's it. Just give me, if you're gonna
Wouldn't that have been Thomas?
Die, he didn't peak. He would fall. He accepted the death, right?
Okay, you're right.
Give me one person who is running, or I don't know, trying to, someone who's locked in the house. Give me one person, another punk kid there, who thinks that they're can outsmart the system. It should be real quick. I guarantee you that's a 10-second death right there. Easy. It's easy. You can just one little peek. If it kills him, that's great. Because
instead of writing off MGK, he dies that way.
Because if you're in this world, someone's gonna peak.
Yeah,
you're gonna peak. You're gonna be tempted to do You're not gonna quit your vision cold turkey.
And of course, we already seen this movie in 2018 with A Quiet Place because kids are just dumb. I mean, I don't know how many times my wife and I were watching this movie screaming at the screen, those stupid kids. You know, I mean, like that kid in the beginning of Quiet Place. It's like, oh God, you know, it's just, to me, that's annoying, and that's why I give it a small bag, because I feel that it's following a formula, right? In the 80s, we get the Jason, Michael, Freddy slasher stuff, which follows a formula. In the 90s, we get the, hey, we're ironic and we know what we're doing. In the 2000s, we get the grunge and Ring formula. Now in the 2010s, we're getting, hey, we're going to cover your senses horror, and kids are always going to fuck up. It's just becoming a pattern. It's becoming annoying to me. It's becoming frustrating to me that they are not doing anything new with the material. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I get you. I don't want to prolong the argument any longer.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is, like, they just don't do it. I mean, like, people say that Cloverfield is great. How is that any different from Blair Witch? It's a found footage film. It does nothing new.
It was the first of its kind. You know that. Not first found footage movie. I'm saying the first monster movie. Well, Blair Witch was the first found footage movie. But I'm just to answer.
Cannibal Holocaust. Hey.
Okay. All right. So let's the first mainstream found footage movie.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
You know, and with Cloverfield, it was the first monster movie that was like that. And and they've established a world now. There's three movies in that story. There's a world that you're learning more about what happened in Cloverfield because of those two other movies.
True.
So
yeah. Well, you know, anyway, everybody, thank you so much here for watching us live on YouTube and Twitch. And you know, you can download this. You can download this episode currently on iTunes and on Spotify and on iHeartRadio. Check us out on social media there, guys. And also on go ahead and follow us on Twitter and tweet at us there at Movie Guys Pod, and Instagram as well, Movie Guys Pod. So Eric and Ed, thank you so much for joining me for this week's episode for Bird Box. We'll be back next week for another awesome episode. If you don't know, if this is your first time checking out Movie Guys Podcast, every Thursday before 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, a new Movie Guys Podcast episode will be released. So make sure to check out movieguyspodcast.com and also our Podbean Movie Guys Podcast before 9 o'clock on Eastern Time, and you'll be able to get the newest episode. Eric and Ed, thanks so much for joining me. Have a good night, guys. We'll talk to everybody next week. See ya.